Alrighty, let's finish this thing. So Panan's plan to capture Hellman was pretty simple. Allow me to explain. Step 1. Practice my aim using this huge gun. Step 2. Scout the area that Hellman will fly by and decide to take down Hellman using an EMP blast. Step 3. Drive to the restricted location and get ready for some pressure. Step 4. Break into the area and use the huge cannon I was practicing with in order to destroy these drones. Step 5. Overload this huge antenna to the point where it nearly kills me. Step 6. Wait for Hellman. Step 7. Set off the EMP. Step 8. Realize that the ship is not coming down. And finally, Step 9. Watch Panan improvise the plan by firing a missile at the poor ship. With the ship now losing altitude, we made our way to it. However, some of Panan's clan saw the ship coming down and went after it as well in order to save anyone that was on board. We scanned the area to see if Panan's clan was still there, but it looked like they all had died due to the Kang Tao robots that were guarding Hellman. The only one alive was Mitch. It was time for me to finally get Hellman and save Mitch. I slowly made my way to the robots, but got spotted. What you are seeing here is why man is greater than machine. If a machine ever gets powerful enough to overtake us, simply use your fist to defend yourself. As you can see here, my knuckles leave dents the size of boulders on these pieces of metal. My hands are very strong, but I can't say the same for my brain. Since I'm all brawn and no brain, I thought that I could punch these turrets off the big ship. But after clicking my left mouse button many times, I realized that all I had to do was turn them off via the little computer on the side of the ship. I opened the door and got greeted with quite a situation. I told him I'll shoot if he doesn't let go of Mitch, but I was bluffing. What I would have done was punch the air so hard that he would have flown back, shattering his spine against the wall behind him. Before I could do that though, Panan decided to do it her way instead. Mitch was the only survivor. He told us that Hellman was taken to safety at some facility. We got to it and it looked tough to get in. It had security on every corner. I went in through the back, of course, getting caught. Don't ever think, not even for a second, that I'll do anything without being noticed ever in my life. I disabled the turrets and the tech, broke this TV, killed this man, and found Hellman. I made him soil his pants by killing his friend right before his eyes and hit him in the head with my pistol. I could have blown his head up if I used my fist. With Hellman now captured, me and Panan parted ways and I didn't even get to express my love to her. I took Hellman back to my hotel and it was time for him to spill the beans on how to get the chip out of my head. He started to examine the biochip and basically told me he's useless. Everything that happened since meeting Takamura at that diner was all set in motion to talk to this incel, but in the end, he turned out to be a complete waste of time. All he did was give me the blueprints to the biochip, so I guess that's better than nothing. With this whole Hellman thing now out of the way, I decided to go ahead and follow my other lead, the Voodoo Boys. These people are the ones who hired Evelyn in the first place to steal the relic, so they must know something. Basically, to sum it up real quick, this big guy named Placide wanted me to get something done for him so that way I can talk to Brigitte, who's basically the tech wizard around here. I went ahead and completed his mission with pure stealth until I got to this netrunner. All of the steroids, all of that juice in her veins, all of that muscle, but Matilda still couldn't hold up a good fight. I dropped her faster than when my balls dropped when I turned 18, and I then made my way to who Placide was looking for. Like usual, I let my hands do all the talking, and just like that, Placide got what he wanted and tried to kill me since I was no longer needed. Luckily, since I have Keanu Reeves in my head, I didn't die and I made it back to Placide. Now he's very lucky that Brigitte was there, or else I would have left some of his teeth stuck on my knuckles. This next part kinda threw me out of the loop. I had no idea what in the world was happening. I got into a tub of ice, and Brigitte was able to send me into my own head. I was tasked to retrieve a fragment corresponding to a woman named Alt Cunningham. This is when I take control of the breathtaking man once again. I found Alt, and let's just say that I got a little more than just a single fragment from her. Just a little more. She was Keanu Reeves' girlfriend, and after that fun we had, some hoodlums decided to mess with me. They grabbed Alt, and I started to beat their ass until from out of nowhere, I got a mantis blade shoved into my intestines. They kidnapped Alt, and I was saved by the guy right over there. He told me that Alt is one of the best netrunners around and that she is considered very valuable. Apparently, it was Arasaka who kidnapped Alt in order to test the soul killer program that she wrote. I went to the afterlife and got scared by how these people dance. I went ahead and talked to Rogue and got her to help me to get Alt back. This started a firefight and I tried to leave the afterlife, but the game decided to hit me with the fattest glitch known to man and I wasn't able to leave no matter what I did. I reloaded my save and went at it again. Keanu Reeves' fists are honestly a force to be reckoned with. I'm extremely lethal and quick with my jabs, like a boxer who snorts crack and is on speed. We got out of the afterlife and started to get chased. Now I didn't shoot anyone, but I did shoot their cars, which in turn turned to flames and blew the enemies up into pieces. So whether or not that counts as a fail, I'll let you guys decide. Not really sure what exactly happened here, but we all made it to where Alt was and unleashed our wrath on everyone here. Akira thought he could outbox me, but man was he wrong. I gently put him to rest for conducting tests on my girl, and well, I shot this man. But this was completely out of my control, so it's not my fault. After seeing that I was too late and Alt died, I beat the living absolute holy crap out of this guy just because I could. Apparently, when Johnny disconnected Alt, she did die, but only her physical form died. The real her was stranded somewhere in the net, and Brigitte thinks she knows how to get to her. I gave Brigitte the fragment she needed, and she started to go deeper and deeper into the net. Alt was apparently behind this wall. I made it across this wall, and with a lot of different trippy visuals after that, we made it to Alt. Now this is a woman who isn't playing games. She says she can help me. All I have to do is get her to something called Mikoshi so that she could somehow separate me from Johnny. Well, that's great. Now I have a solid idea on what the hell to do. I left the voodoo people and Takamura called me asking me to meet with him once again. On my way, I sort of managed to get stuck here and I can't really explain how that happened. I made it to Takamura and he told me to get inside of this complex in order to reach the largest float and infect it with a virus. Now Takamura said to be quiet in this mission, but we all know that's basically impossible. I fought my way into the complex and blasted this man's sack in order to finally hack the float and have it under Takamura's control. How he got the intel that this complex was holding all the floats of the parade, I'm not too sure. But I escaped the complex and Takamura said he will let me know when it's time to invade the parade. That parade sounded like a pretty beefy mission, so I wanted to make sure I was prepared. I upgraded my body to 16, making my punches 16 times more likely to reconfigure someone's face, and realized I had a little bit of money saved up. I went ahead and paid old Victor a visit and paid off my debt. Now I was curious and started to browse what enhancements I could get, and I realized there was something called Gorilla Arms. It took this long for me to realize that there was something that could make my fist even more powerful. You bet your mama I bought that enhancement. Now, I can finally say that my punches feel like they create earthquakes above a 9.5 magnitude anywhere I punch. You guys actually don't understand how good it feels to punch with these arms. I can't wait to use them on someone's face. A single punch could probably make a head look like a crushed soda can. Takamura was ready, and here was his plan. He wanted me to take out the 3 snipers overlooking the parade in order to let him jump onto the float containing Hanako Arasaka. We waited till nighttime and the parade started. It was quite beautiful actually. Apparently, there was also a netrunner I had to take care of in order to allow Takamura to hack the float. I went ahead and with a little parkour and some careful elevator usage, I managed to crack all 3 snipers. I then made it to the netrunner whose link I disconnected. Then, freaking Takamura's friend Oda came out of nowhere to try and stop me. Not gonna lie though, his little Arkham Knight cosplay he had going on was pretty sexy. I was genuinely a little intimidated. I'd hit him with punches equal to the force of 2 commercial airplanes crashing into each other, and he had a lot of cool gadgets on him, but it was all for show. I dropped him and didn't punch him through the concrete floor only because I respected Takamura's wishes. I hacked into the float and disarmed the security. Takamura failed to say that he would shoot the princess with a tranquilizer and kidnap her. Now you see, I didn't know he was gonna do that. I didn't know it was even a part of the plan. So I took a pull from my inhaler and decided to get the hell out of here. Takamura told me he was headed to some abandoned building, so it was time to meet him there. I must have forgotten the fact that he told me to knock 4 times before I entered, because I only knocked once and it ended with an explosion. This time I knocked 4 times and he let me in. I tried to talk some sense into Hanako that her brother killed their father, but she wouldn't listen. I heard a noise and went to go check it out, and well, it wasn't good news, as you can see from what's currently happening. I assumed Takamura didn't make it out, so I left him in the building and made my escape. All it took was 2 cracks and some determination to make it out. Me and Johnny stayed at some old motel, and Hanako sent a funtime robot in order to communicate with me. She told me to meet her at Embers in order to talk business, because for some reason, now she believes me that Yorinobu is a murderer. I took a visit to Embers and she told me that she'll get me into a meeting filled with members of the board from all different types of factions. It is there where she wants me to testify against Yorinobu and convince the board members that he is a murderer. She said only after this will she help me get to Mikoshi. I told her I had to think about it and left. This relic was really killing me now, and I had little time left. I made it to Vic on my last legs, and he said that I basically looked dead. He said that one more blackout like this and I'm a goner. He didn't want to keep seeing me suffer, so he told me there's another way. Some pills and a handgun. I took these up to the roof and thought about what Victor said. Now I didn't really know this was the ending of the game, so I accidentally did kill myself. I was not satisfied with this ending, plus it also means I failed the challenge since I pulled the trigger on myself. So I reloaded the save, and this time I chose to suppress Johnny instead of ending my own life. I accepted Hanako's offer, and it was time to end this. First things first, I had to get Hanako because she was being kept at her brother's house. Now there were a lot of guards here in order to prevent someone from doing what I'm about to do. I brought Hellman along for the ride, and he told me to act natural. So naturally, if someone speaks to me in a tone of voice I don't like, I go ahead and leave a dent in his head. Now inside the Arasaka estate, I had to neutralize all the guards. I had to be very careful with my hands, since exerting too much power could cause the entire universe to implode. I hit every enemy with a deadly punch so deadly it kills. If a punch literally lifts you off the ground like this, then you know my hands are packing some real meat, some boar's head meat on these knuckles. With the guards basically dead, I went ahead and got Hanako. We took a flying car to Arasaka Tower, and here's where things get crazy. Somehow, Saburo was talking as if he didn't get choked out, and there was a goddamn forest inside of the tower. Me and Hanako made it to the board meeting where we convinced everyone that Yorinobu was a true murderer and a liar. All it took was Saburo to completely degrade this man's self-esteem in order for everyone to believe we were telling the truth. But this really didn't even matter, since Yorinobu came out of nowhere and ordered his guards to kill everyone here. It's a good thing I laid a smackdown on these fools after everyone got murdered in order to protect myself. From here, me and Hanako were on a hunt for Yorinobu. Now in this tower, there were a lot of floors filled with many different enemies to nut on. I was never overwhelmed since I knew my mollywopping skills were on point. I'm having a hard time putting into words how many families' lives I just ruined on these 2 floors. Now that the easy part was done and all the meat was taken care of, it was time to fight the whole goddamn cow. Adam Smasher came in, and I had no hesitation to start giving him the good old left right guap guap 2000. This dude meant business. He was filled with many tricks up his sleeve and was very agile. I almost had him, but then he released his trump card and shot me with let's see, how many missiles of those? You got 1, 2, 3. We'll say about 20 missiles. He shot 20 missiles at me, obviously killing me. I went back at it, this time with faster and much harder hits. He could not keep up with me and my speed. Not even his lackeys could. Now I will admit, he almost got the best of me, but I mean, come on. The same move just tickles me. I followed him and hit him with a hard right to the jaw, sending him straight to the floor. He somehow got up after the brutal hit and was still trying his best to win, but the slugs I kept handing him eventually brought him down to his knees. I disrespected his very existence and hit him with the final hook, ending Adam Smasher once and for all. Adam Smasher is the last thing these hands will ever punch, since after this, I made it to Yorinobu. A defeated man wearing a dress is all I saw. Hanako went ahead and, well, stayed with him. I thought she would put a cap in his head, or at least slap him for being a bad boy. But she didn't. What she did do, however, was held down her promise. I got into an elevator with Hellman and passed out. I woke up in that weird blue, mind thing. I had a chat with Johnny, which to my surprise was the last chat I'll ever have with him, since after I woke up, I realized I was in the Arasaka clinic, up in space. They said that the relic was successfully taken out and the madness was finally over. I was sadly stuck in here living the same day over and over and over and over again until I recovered. Each day I did the same task, becoming better at them little by little. I ran on a treadmill, I solved the Rubik's Cube, and I answered a couple of questions. All this pain, all this suffering was all for nothing, since Hellman told me that I'm going to die anyways. He said I could have my own relic made by Arasaka and be stored somewhere until a body is ready for me in order to cheat death. So basically, he wanted what happened to Johnny happen to me. He wanted me to get a second chance at life. It was either this or go back to Earth and live my last few days at home. Getting a second chance at life does sound nice since I didn't want to pass away, but I realized I already did get a second chance, and I did a lot in that chance. I didn't want to be a slave to Arasaka, so I packed up my things and chose to go home. On my way out, for some reason the game decided to have me walk out with my mouth wide open as if I was possessed. I clenched my bullet one last time, and with one final look, the challenge was done. So, did I beat CyberPunk 2077 with only my fist? Well, aside from those moments where I had no control over my character, then I'd say yes. Yes, I did. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please subscribe to the channel and leave any challenges you'd like to see me do down below in the comments. Hit that like button harder than I hit my enemies, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.